corruption is likely to come in. We know government exists to basically, as it is there in our constitution, the 1999 constitution as amended in chapter 2, says that government exists for the security and development of the people. So the lawmakers are basically there to ensure that their own constituencies are part of this and enjoy whatever it is they are supposed to enjoy. Anything outside of this is not good enough.
Now, let me come back to you, Sir Joseph, and quickly, yes. I want to talk about this constituency project that we are talking about and lawmakers, how it affects the communities, you understand, that they are representing. When we're talking about constituency development, is it the lawmaker that does the championing after collation of the needs of the people and then take it to the assembly? And what are the process for that to get the hearing and probably maybe the financial backing before such projects like we see in some rural communities being executed? What are the process from the town hall meeting where the people will congregate and say, this is what we want our lawmakers to do, and then the projects now getting to them and executed?
Yes, my brother, I thank you so much for that question. And what you have enumerated is, from my experience, that's what ought to be done. But what is? What's the reality? That's a different thing, you know. So because what ought to be done is the fact that the process should start, as you said, from the town hall meeting. You know, the people themselves should come together and say, these are the things we need in our community. It becomes people-driven. It becomes demand-driven. All right?
I have a community. I come from a community,
yes,
and we've had meeting on what we need in our community.
Hallelujah.
So I'm only speaking from experience.
Yes.
You understand?
Hallelujah.
But now we've said it, but we are waiting to get it actualized.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm asking you, what process, so that maybe with the information you give to me, I can add 18 or 2.
I'm enumerating the process.
Okay.
It ought to start. You are correct, 100%.
Yeah.
It ought to start from the town hall meeting. Then after that, the people will have to articulate what they intend to do. And that's another point I want to underscore. Because our people cannot make any positive impact on democracy, in shaping democracy, unless they are organized. So it's only the people in their organized form that would make impact on democracy. You know? So that town hall meeting under the town union, they will now take the blueprint to their representative, to the person they gave their mandate. You know? So the onus is now on the representative. As a matter of fact, this started from 1999 to make sure that developmental projects get down to the nooks and crannies of Nigeria. That's the idea, the entire philosophy behind constituency projects. So they will now take this to the legislature, to the National Assembly, Federal House of Representatives. There we have 300 and how many? 360. Then you go to the Senate, 109 here. Here in Anambra State, 3 senatorial zones, 11 federal constituencies, and of course at the State House of Assembly you have 30. All right? So these various representatives, they will now have to congregate. And then the process of lawmaking, appropriation bill, they make it, they put it into the budget. That becomes the appropriation bill, which they now have to debate, and costs allocated. All right? Now, this takes place annually, and there is, of course, a timeline within which the budget will be rolled out and then presented to the president for his accent. And once he accents to that, it becomes a law to be implemented. All right? So these are that's the process it has to go. And then, of course, in the implementation, that's where Mr. Oche said mentioned oversight function. They have to oversight. The executive arm executes the project, all right? So, but as I said, that's what ought to be done. The other thing is, what are we seeing on ground? For instance, if I ask you, what of the projects you people enumerated? Have they started? So that
you
is it.
understand?
And that's what we're saying, that our people should be involved. Just the way they presented the blueprint today, they should continue going to the legislator.
Okay.
All right? To find out. And that's why we're saying.
We're talking about legislators that will keep the doors to his office or his house open for people to come.
Now, what happened?
People close the doors.
After
I agree totally with you. I agree totally with you. That's the problem. But we can't just fold our hands and then run away because there is that signboard, beware of dog.
We still get to that, but you made mention of something earlier where you said we are here to tell people that they need to hold their representatives accountable.
Of course.
Now, you've enumerated the process, how it's supposed to be, but we know that this is not what is obtainable.
Yes.
They just wake up one morning and decided that, okay, maybe I'll just go and build a toilet for
Yeah.
I'll just go and roof the market, the roofs at the marketplace. And probably these are not the things
Pressing issues.
The pressing issues, the top on the priority list. And they'll just go there and do it. And of course, we don't know what is in their mind and we don't know what they want to choose as a constituency project. How then are we going to hold them accountable?
That's precisely what I'm saying. And I will continue to say that the people can only make impact as an organized group. All right? And we know here in Anambra State, for instance, we have the town unions. There is a body in charge of that. Anambra State Association of Town Unions. ASATU. All right? I will even mention the Traditional Rulers Council. All right? When the people under these two umbrellas, they institutionalize, they make it, they tell the people, they conscientize our people and say, the time has come. How many years into our democratic practice? From 1999 to 2023. That is about going to 24 years of our democratic experience. The time has come for us to take ownership of accountability. There is a program in NOAA we call Accountability and Stewardship Program. Instead of the representatives coming at their whims and caprices to come and share what they call all these machines and everything at their own built locations, why can't we, during the electioneering campaign, make it mandatory that at so, look at, they have just been sworn in, they've started working, that mid-term or before 100 days in office, you are supposed to come here at another location of a public importance to that constituency and talk to us. If you fail, we note it for you. Vis-a-vis the next election. These are ways to start demanding accountability from the legislators. Yes, and I believe when these two institutions, they make that demand, they will listen.
Okay, let's come to you, Mr.
Yes.
Now we are talking about holding them accountable. Do we say that the problem is from us, the electorate? Because you talked about electing people that are honest, people that have integrity. But you know how politics is being played in Nigeria. You understand? So many people, they just want to vote for people that, of course, that grease their palms with some naira notes and all that. So is the problem coming from us? Because at the end of the day, these people spend a whole lot trying to get a particular state. And when they get there, they just shut the door against us. Probably because they have shared their rights, they have shared their all and all that when they were campaigning. So where is this problem coming from?
You just said it all. If you allow somebody to spend so much in as a setting, in Nigerian setting, he feels he has done what he ought to do for you and he doesn't owe you anything anymore. But as long as we tie our our politics and how we bring leadership into existence to quote and unquote what individual can benefit at the immediate. It will continue to be where we are. If we ought to look at a bigger picture, if somebody is coming into power, is it the 10 naira, a bag of rice, a few things he can give to individuals who are linked to him that means governance? No, it ought not to be. If we look at the bigger picture, and like he said, during the electioneering campaign, if we're able to bring him to a table and say, when you get to position of authority, A, B, C, D are what we want as a community, as a state, as a group. Definitely by the time he gets there, you will recall his memory back to whatever. Even if it's possible, he can sign an undertaking and then you hold him to that.
Yes.
But mostly that's not what we do. Like he said, the process with which we bring about these projects is very important. By the time you don't articulate what the community or what a particular place require, you leave the lawmaker to whatever he chooses. And most times what he brings to the table is not what benefits you as a people. He looks at what he can do that may not even require so much accountability. Some of them will tell you they organize training program for a group of persons, something that is not tangible. You may not, it's very difficult for you to know how he has done that or how much people have benefited from such a program. And then he goes away. But if you agree on things that are concrete and are important to the people, that are measurable and monitorable, if it's there, it's there. If it's not there, it's not there. So we'll be able to hold him to account. On the side of the ICPC, we work with NOE to encourage people. Our educational and enlightenment department insists that the people should be part and parcel of the process of identifying projects that are beneficial to them. But we go a step further. Now that the project has been earmarked for locations and the lawmakers are supposed to monitor, we ensure that these projects are actually done. If they are not done, we ask questions as to why they are not done. If it is that money was not given, the lawmakers don't execute the projects themselves, but they work through ministries, MDAs, to execute. And we follow up from the point of the MDA, but the lawmakers have a lot of influence. They can determine that a particular project be taken away from where it's supposed to be to another place. They can choose to take the project to their own house. They can decide not to even do it at all, in connivance with whoever is supposed to be the implementing agency. So a whole lot of issues come. At the end of the day, the project is not delivered as it ought to be. So on the part of ICPC, we follow up from the point at which project has been given or designated for a particular location, and we follow through to ensure that, first of all, is the project budgeted for? Is money released for the execution? Okay. Is it implemented? Is the implementation to specification? Mm-hmm. What is the management process? Is it something that that requires maybe a long-term management for sustainability? And then we get are non-existent. Mm-hmm. On record, it could be there that it's been done, but it's not done. And when you follow up,
well, money we are budgeted for that.
Money could be budgeted, money could be released on paper. If you go, you see the evidence, but it's not there. Sometimes a project that is supposed to be public project, an individual could corner it to his own personal project. We have cases like that all over the place. And then others, you see, if it's equipment, like you monitor grinding machine and the rest, some people can buy these things and keep them in their own houses or warehouses, not distributing to the intended beneficiaries at the end of the day for reasons known to them. Some of them keep it, the politicians keep it to use it as campaign materials. Yes, for re-election.
Okay.
So all these are issues why zonal intervention projects are not being executed as it's supposed to be. So on the part of ICPC, we follow up from the source and ensure that wherever we find that things are not done as it's supposed to do, we bring such persons to book. And there are various ways we do that.
Yeah, because that's where we're interested in. I was waiting for you to plan.
Yes. We can ask you to refund money to the government coffers. We can also compel you to go back to site and execute the project according to plan. We can also prosecute you. The lawmakers don't have immunity. Don't play by the rules. You leave footprints that will be able to catch up with you. We ensure that the system is in that way. And then when you fail, we are left with no option than to enforce the law against you. And then the one we do, that we enlighten the public on our rules and what we can do and their rights as citizens. But the problem we have most times is that people don't come up to report these issues. And we also understand that to a great extent, many Nigerians don't even know what their projects, what the projects are in their own communities. We have gone a step further in ICPC. We have the database of all federal zonal intervention projects, the constituency projects, from 2019 or 15 to 2022. If you don't know what your constituency projects are within your locality, get in touch with us. Even in Oka here, we will tell you. We'll tell you how much is involved, whether the money was released or not, and who the contractors are. And you
begin to take it up from there.
Yes.
You said something that people, the problem you're having is that people don't come to report to you that something that was supposed to be done probably in their community that wasn't executed.
Yes.
But you still have the data of those projects.
We wouldn't know whether they were executed or not.
Okay.
That's the point I'm trying to make. But the people who are beneficiaries of this project should come forward, because we can't go to every locality, community to see, oh, was your borehole sunk when it was supposed to be sunk or not? No, people should come up to tell us. First of all, you have to know what the government has given to your locality. And then if it's not done, report back to us. We'll be able to follow up and ensure that it's either done or the money is refunded.
Okay, on that, we'll definitely get to that. But then, for this, which you just said, can't you collaborate with NOA in order to help you disseminate all this information?
We are doing that already.
Yeah, create that awareness, make people understand and own up to the responsibilities, just like you rightly said. But then, there was something you said that really caught my fancy. You said that these monies for this community project are not given to the politicians and it's not their money. So where do they get the money they use in buying grinding machine, Okada, and the rest of it all? As funny as we have seen, even down to some community that I saw where a lawmaker was brandishing goat rope to people as in part of his own community development project. So where do they get these monies from?
It's simple. A project is awarded to maybe a minister of ABC, and I am the legislator who have influenced the project to be zoned, to be given to my zone. The lawmaker simply goes to the management of the implementing agency and tell them, this is what I want, or this is how I want it to be. And in a typical Nigerian manner, they will always strike a deal. And then some of the projects, instead of given to maybe the most appropriate contractors, Some of the lawmakers can even have their own company and use them as fronts. And the money is cornered to where it's not supposed to be.
So what can ICPC stop that from happening? Because that is taking the responsibility of good governance away from the people.
Sure, anywhere, the law is very clear. The money is not supposed to be given to the lawmakers. But where an implementing agency goes against the rule to give or to allow the lawmaker have access to the money, that's an offense already. And the moment we get to know about that, trouble will start. If the
and a lot of people, maybe me, this is the first time I'm hearing this, that you can actually do this. A lot of people are unaware of this particular thing. And I know there are some people with a burning desire to come out because they want good governance, they want a better representation. So he said, both of you, the two agencies are working together. So I want to know how far you've gone in disseminating this information, creating this awareness, letting people know that they can actually hold their representatives accountable when it comes to constituency projects.
Yes, I think that's a veritable question. And first and foremost, that's why we are here. You are saying this is the first time you are hearing this and hearing that. That's why we are here. And both agencies will be collaborating over time, in public enlightenment. And I may not totally agree with you that a good number of our people are not aware. But then I will think that having the political will to do the needful may be the issue. Because I know there was a program we held, NOA and ICPC, on these constituency projects. That was at, what's that hotel at Agolo?
Golden Tulip?
Yeah, Golden Tulip. Golden Tulip. That was in 2000 and, was it 2021 or 22 at Golden Tulip Hotel on constituency projects. The presidents general were there, the traditional rulers were there, and we made them to understand that it's very important for them to start taking ownership. Because as I said, we are basically aware of that fact, of that principle. This is a general principle with regards to operation of democracy. The people can only make impact and shape democracy only as an organized group. You can't do it alone. It's not possible. So groups that are organized, the town union, the traditional rulers council, these are grassroots-based organizations owned by the people, all right? And we are telling them, we keep telling them over time, you have to start asking questions, not just accepting all these gifts from politicians and everything.